Trapped. The heartbreaking true story of John Jones' final adventure. In the quiet expanse of the Utah desert, under the vast blue sky and rugged landscape, Nutty Putty Cave lay hidden, an unassuming entrance to a subterranean world of intricate tunnels, tight passages, and stunning formations. Known only to the adventurous few who sought its challenges, the cave had long been a popular destination for experienced spelunkers. One of these was John Jones, a 26-year-old medical student, husband, father, and lifelong explorer. John had always been drawn to the natural world. As a child, he had wandered the wilderness with his brothers, their imaginations turning forests and caves into places of mystery and wonder. Now, as a husband to Emily and a father to a little girl, Lizzie, with another child on the way, John's love for adventure was tempered by the responsibilities of family life. Still, the call of the wild never left him, and he cherished every chance to explore. In November 2009, with Thanksgiving approaching, John planned a special outing with his brother Josh and a few friends, one last caving trip before the holiday. Nutty Putty Cave, with its tight, winding tunnels, beckoned them for a final adventure before they would settle into the warmth of family gatherings. For John, it was not just about the thrill of exploration, but about bonding with his brother, creating memories that would last a lifetime. The group set out on a crisp November morning, the sun low in the sky casting long shadows across the desert. The laughter and banter of the brothers filled the air as they made their way to the cave. John was excited but calm, a mix of confidence and curiosity in his heart. He had explored difficult caves before and was no stranger to the physical and mental demands of spelunking. As they descended into the wide, welcoming mouth of the cave, the group marveled at the formations that surrounded them. Limestone walls, carved over millennia, seemed almost alive, their ridges and folds catching the faint light from their headlamps. John took the lead, his mind instinctively mapping the route as they ventured deeper into the darkness. The camaraderie was palpable. The brothers, who had shared countless adventures as children, were now bonded by something deeper, family. John's love for his wife, Emily, and his daughter, Lizzie, was ever present in his thoughts. He couldn't wait to tell them about the cave when he got home. He imagined Lizzie's wide eyes as he recounted the twists and turns, and Emily's soft smile as she listened, her hand resting gently on her growing belly. But as the tunnels narrowed, so too did the sense of ease. The infamous birth canal lay ahead, a tight, claustrophobic passage that had earned its reputation as one of the cave's most dangerous sections. John, always the one to push forward, was eager to conquer it. He felt the familiar surge of adrenaline as he squeezed through the first section with relative ease, the laughter of his friends still echoing faintly behind him. But the passage grew tighter. The stone walls seemed to close in, squeezing the air from his lungs as he wriggled through the corkscrew, a section so narrow that it twisted the body in uncomfortable ways. His breath came in short bursts, and for a moment he hesitated. A flicker of doubt crept into his mind, but he pushed it aside. He had come this far. He couldn't stop now. And then, in an instant, everything changed. John found himself wedged in a narrow fissure, upside down, with his arms pinned and his body unable to move. The space was no wider than 18 inches, and the downward slope meant that gravity was pulling him deeper into the crevice. Panic gripped him as he realized he was trapped. "Josh," he called, his voice echoing in the cold, dark tunnel. Josh, navigating the tight passage just behind him, heard the urgency in his brother's voice. He hurried forward, but when he reached John, he was horrified by what he saw. Only the tips of John's shoes were visible, the rest of his body swallowed by the rock. John was wedged so tightly that any movement seemed impossible. Josh's heart pounded in his chest. He tried pulling on John's legs, but nothing budged. John was stuck, well and truly stuck. Fear surged through Josh as he realized the severity of the situation. He had to get help, and fast. Scrambling through the narrow tunnels, Josh emerged from the cave, breathless and terrified. He shouted for help, his voice filled with desperation. Time seemed to slow as the gravity of the situation set in. For John, every second felt like an eternity. The pressure on his chest made breathing difficult, each breath shallower than the last. His arms were pinned, and with his body upside down, blood began to pool in his head, making him dizzy. His thoughts turned to Emily, to Lizzie, to the child he would never meet. Alone in the darkness, he prayed. He fought the rising panic, willing himself to stay calm, to stay strong, for his family. Hours passed before the first rescue teams arrived. By the time Susie, one of the rescuers, made her way to John, his hope had flickered like a candle in the wind. She squeezed through the tight passages, her voice a beacon of reassurance. "We're going to get you out of here, John," she said softly, trying to keep his spirits up. But the reality of the situation was grim. John's position, upside down, pinned in such a narrow space, made the rescue incredibly difficult. The team worked tirelessly, setting up a system of ropes and pulleys to pull him free. Every attempt was met with agonizing setbacks. The cave's narrowness, combined with John's weight and the angle of the fissure, made it nearly impossible to generate enough force to pull him out without causing further injury. John's body was breaking down. The blood pooling in his head caused excruciating pressure, and his shallow breaths became labored. He could hear the rescuers talking, their voices a lifeline in the suffocating darkness, but his body was failing him. Above ground, Emily waited anxiously, her heart heavy with fear. She prayed for a miracle, holding on to the hope that John would be pulled from the cave, bruised but alive. Every update from the rescue team brought with it a mix of relief and dread. She clutched her belly, feeling the soft kicks of the baby inside her, willing John to hold on. But the hours dragged on, and hope began to fade. A final attempt to free John ended in disaster. A pulley system failed, causing a catastrophic collapse. One of the rescuers was injured, and John's body shifted further into the crevice. He had been trapped for over 19 hours. His body, battered and exhausted, could take no more. As the rescue team regrouped, they realized the heartbreaking truth. John could not be saved. At 11:56 a.m. on November 25, 2009, John Jones was pronounced dead. His family, waiting above, was devastated by the news. The man who had faced life with such courage, who had loved his family with all his heart, was gone. In the days that followed, Nutty Putty Cave was sealed permanently, becoming John's final resting place. A plaque now stands in his memory, a silent tribute to a man who lived for adventure, but paid the ultimate price. John's story became more than a tale of tragedy. It became a reminder of the fragility of life, the importance of caution, and the love that binds families together, even in the face of unbearable loss. This version aims to delve deeper into John's internal experience, his connection with his family, and the emotional journey of those around him.